Hello class 9th. Today we will begin with a new chapter of physics, chapter 9, that is force and laws of motion. In our previous chapter, that is the chapter motion, we have learned about the motion of objects along the straight line in terms of its position, velocity and acceleration. We have also learned that motion can be either uniform or non-uniform. Now, what is the actual cause of motion? Why does a body move, or how does a body move from one position to another position? Well, we will find our answer in this chapter. So, the main cause of motion is the force. What is a force? A push or pull on a body is called force. Forces are used in our everyday actions like pushing, pulling, twisting, squeezing, etc. What are the effects of force? Force can't be seen, tasted or felt. However, we always see or feel the effect of a force. A force can be used to change the magnitude of velocity of an object, that is, a force can be used to make the object move faster or slower. A force can also change the direction of motion of the objects. A force can change the shape and size of objects. Balanced and unbalanced forces. First, we will discuss what balanced forces are. If two forces acting on a body in opposite direction, and if both these forces they are equal in magnitude, then the resultant or the net force acting on the body is 0. Such forces are called the balanced forces. The balanced forces cannot change the state of rest or motion of a body. As you can see in the diagram, a box is kept over a table. The two forces F1 and F2, they are acting in opposite direction and they are equal in magnitude. So, as a result, the resultant force acting on this box is 0 and therefore the box will not move. That is, it will not change its state of rest. Unbalanced forces. If the two forces act on a body in opposite direction and if one of them is greater than the other, then the resultant force acting on the body is not equal to 0. Such forces are called unbalanced forces. Unbalanced forces, they change the state of rest or motion of a body. For example, we all must have played tug of war once in a lifetime. So, in this game, the whole concept is of unbalanced forces. The force of one team is greater and the another team is lesser, and as a result, the team with greater force could win. After this balanced and unbalanced forces, there is another important force known as force of friction. It is also known as frictional force, or simply we call it as friction. Let's talk about this friction. Frictional force or the force of friction is the force which opposes the motion of an object over a surface. For example, if a person is pushing a box, for example, as shown in the diagram, the box does not move because of friction acting in a direction opposite to the push. This frictional force always arises between two surfaces in contact. And in this case, what are the two surfaces? The two surfaces, the frictional force in this case is between the bottom of the box and the floor's rough surface. It balances the pushing force and therefore the box does not move. For example, a ball rolling on ground gradually slows down and comes to a stop due to the force of friction. Similarly, a bicycle stops if we stop pedaling it due to the force of friction. When we stop pedaling, the bicycle begins to slow down. This is due to frictional forces which are acting opposite to the direction of motion. In order to keep the bicycle moving, we have to start pedaling again. It appears that an object maintains its motion under the continuous application of an unbalanced force. So, we can conclude that an object which is moving with a uniform velocity, when forces, for example, the pushing force and the frictional force acting on the object are balanced, there is no net external force on it. But if an unbalanced force is applied on the object, there will be a change either in its speed or in the direction of its motion. Thus, to accelerate the motion of an object, an unbalanced force is required.